Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to BlueSync on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. We're here to talk about organization and organizing our busy days with Google Calendar and how we can help keep our offices organized at the same time. So we are going to jump right in and learn how to stay organized. So really with our offices the way they are, and we all have trainings, we all have conference room schedules that we're trying to juggle, we all have sales meetings, um, just the day-to-day stuff that we have to do. We have huddles, we have everything that we have to stay organized. So Google Calendar is really nice because it integrates with your email. It also can integrate with Google Keep and Google Tasks. So we'll talk about that at the end. One of the things that really helps me as well is I sync it with my phone. So not only can you sync Google Calendar with your phone's calendar, but you can also download the Google Calendar app. And that gives you a lot of functionality that you might not necessarily get with Apple Calendar, or if you have a Google Calendar or what it might be. So it's a really nice way to stay organized across all of your platforms with one single point of truth being your Google Calendar. So in order to get to your Google Calendar, of course, you most likely are logged into your Gmail account. And then, of course, we all know you can hit the waffle in the upper right corner and go and find calendar. I have mine on dark mode, which is kind of a newer feature. It's just easier on my eyes. It's personal preference, quite frankly, which way you like it. If you have light mode or dark mode, it doesn't really matter. But this is where you can get to your calendar here by going in the waffle in the upper right corner and clicking on calendar. Now, I don't know if you know this, but these are movable. So depending on what you frequent getting into, you can drop and drag these however you want to see them and click on calendar. Now, I just always have my calendar up. It's, again, personal preference. A lot of people will have it on the sidebar on their email, which is an available feature as well. So it's really nice just to have that kind of agenda right there as you're popping in and out of your email. You'll be able to see what's coming up. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Let me get back out of there. What you can see what's coming up while you're in your inbox. If you want the app on your cell phones, or of course, we have our iPads now, works the same way. You can get into your calendars on that as well. And again, you can sync your Google Calendar to your phone calendar, or you can actually just download the Google Calendar app and then have it separate. So I have all the Google apps on my phone. I have Gmail, I have the calendar, I have Keep, I have Meet, I have Hangouts, I have Chat, I have all of the apps. And I just keep them in a single folder so that when I know I'm in Google land, I have it all there ready to go. But again, you can also sync your Google Calendar right to your phone calendar. So if you're an iPhone user, you can do it to your iPhone calendar app right there. Or if you have a Samsung product, of course, they are all Google friendly anyway. You can sync your calendar there if you choose to. Now, there's a lot of different views. Like I mentioned, I have mine in dark mode. I also keep mine on the week view so that I have it Sunday through Saturday. But up here in the upper right corner, you can change how you see. You can see a day at a time. You can see the week, like I mentioned, is my favorite. You can do a whole month, which is a lot. But sometimes if you're planning out training sessions or sales meetings with your manager or whatnot, or floor calendars, quite frankly, you may want to see a month at a time. You can also see it in schedule view, which is kind of a laundry list of what you have coming up. And then you can also do 4 days. So again, absolutely personal preference. I'm just used to week, so that's what I keep it on. Once in a while, I'll toggle today, but not very frequently. But again, it is personal preference. And then right here, when you click on the cog, you can see that you have the option for your settings or appearance. If you go in appearance, this is where you can go ahead and change that from light to dark. And again, that's a little bit of a newer feature and personal preference. I just prefer the dark. It's just easier on my ever aging eyes. Um, so in order to sync it to your device, there's a couple different steps. Every device is a little bit different. So usually you can Google how to do that. If you have any problems doing that, if you're trying to accomplish that, just don't hesitate to reach out to Paul or Kelly or Jessica or myself, and we can help get that done. So now if you want to create a new event, you go right over here to the left and you want to go click that down arrow, and then you can click event. You can also do focus time. You can set an out of office if you want to. You can set your working location. So maybe if you're covering more than one office and you're going back and forth, you can set the calendar there. You can do a task right from here. I'll also show you in a few minutes how to set that from your actual task app as well. And then, of course, you can do appointment schedule. For simplicity, I'd say 99% of the time I'm doing an event. So when you click on that, it opens up the smaller version of an event. Most of the time, I just go to more options because that it will let you do every single thing that you want to do all from one screen. And then you can see here, you want to give it a title. So for example, we'll just say BlueSync since that's what we're on right now. And then you have the options, of course, to set your time. If you are out of office and you're wanting to let you, maybe you have a shared office calendar or you share it with other ASCs or the RSCs have a calendar, you can click here. It'll go all day. So it'll show at the very top of your calendar when you're in there. Or of course, if you're setting your times, you can come into here, set your start time, set your end time. Time zone. Fortunately, we're all in Eastern Standard Time, so we don't really have to worry a whole lot about that. Some of you in the UP, you get a little closer to that central timeline up there. You want to just make sure that your time zone is defaulting correctly. Or of course, if you're traveling, it can mess with your time zones as well. So just know that that option is there. If you're setting up a repeat, maybe it is your sales meeting, you're helping your manager set it up. It's every single week. You can go in here and you can do repeats daily, which, maybe you have a daily check-in with somebody. Weekly, really good for huddles. You have monthly, annually, or you can do custom. So if you click on custom, you can see you can do your numeric choice and then day, week, month, or year. Obviously year, if you have birthdays or anniversaries that you want to add, you can do that. You can set it to end if you choose. So maybe you have a 4-week series that you're doing in the office for summertime, whatever it might be. You can choose it to end it on a certain date, or it'll just go in perpetuity if you don't set an end date. And then when you set that cadence, you just click done, or if you just went in there to take a look around, you can hit cancel. You can add a location. So if it's an in-person meeting, you can put the address here. You can also add a Google Meet with conferencing. Pro tip, and I've done this to you guys before, if you add a guest, and we'll just pick on Paul, if you add a guest, it automatically is going to set that Google Meet up for you, which can be great unless it's an in-person meeting or it's a Zoom meeting and you didn't want the Google link there. So if that does happen, you can simply click the X, get rid of that video conferencing, and then it'll go away. If you want to bring it back, you can click there as well. Now you do have some options here. You can see that you can edit that Google meeting. So maybe you've had a long-standing link. Everybody has the link. You don't want to change the link, but you want to set up a new repeat calendar. You can actually edit that and you can make that same link that you maybe had set up previously, but didn't have it attached to a calendar invite. You can change that from here by clicking that pencil. So again, we are in the settings and then it had a pencil right next to there, and then you can change it that way. But again, when you're adding somebody, it's going to automatically add it for you. So just make sure you exit out if, and perhaps it's a Zoom or maybe it's an in-person meeting. Again, you can put the email here. I'm sorry, the location here if you choose. Now, notifications. I had gone into my settings a long time ago on my calendar and I set my default notification to be an email and 10 minutes prior. So every single new calendar event that I add to my calendar, it's going to default to that. You do that from your settings in your calendar, which when we go back, I'll show you that. It's in that upper right corner there. So I default mine so that every single time I do a new calendar event, it goes to an email 10 minutes prior. But you have options. You can set your default or you can set it each individual calendar invite that you're adding. So either an email or notification. And then, of course, you can set your numeric and then minutes, hours, days, weeks. Now, sometimes on birthdays, if I have to go buy a card or I want to order flowers, I may do it, a week ahead of time to give myself a reminder. But typically, this is going to be however you want that done. Maybe you want the notification 5 minutes prior. You're sitting at your computer working on closings or whatever, and it's going to notify you that you have that. Again, I'm in my email. That's my total organization for my whole life is my email. So I like that email 10 minutes prior. I go ahead and make sure that I am where I need to be to do the call. You also have the choice of different calendars. So depending on how many calendars that you have that you are either a member of that you can add calendar events to or just view, there's a little bit of a difference. So when we go back to our previous screen, I'll show you how to turn those off and on. But if you are a manager on a calendar, whether it's your own or one you created, if you have the ability to add an event, you're going to see that here. So you can change it. So maybe say I was helping title schedule a closing. I wanted to add a closing to a conference room. You just want to make sure you're adding it to the correct calendar. Obviously, it's just for you. It's your calendar. It'll default to your calendar here. You also have the option to choose busy or free. So maybe you're setting up an appointment for your manager. Maybe they have a recruiting meeting with somebody else. You're not necessarily need to be there, but they ask for your help to set that up. You can check busy or free. So if you're not attending the meeting, you can choose free. That will allow other people when they're checking the calendar to see whether you're actually available. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Down here, you have a lot of options. A lot of people don't use this feature, but I love it. So whether you have a meeting agenda or if it's an interview and you have a resume, if there's any type of documentation that you would like to have with you with the meeting, save yourself a big headache having to go into your drive to find it or going through your email to find it. You can link through right here. So you can add a link to a Google document. You can add an external link. So maybe you guys are reviewing a website. You can do an external link there. You can also just type a quick agenda in this box as well. You can just type it in if you want to, whatever that might be. You can create meeting notes right from inside the calendar. Anybody that you invite to that meeting is going to have access to that as well. So it's a really nice way to stay organized because you can put everything you need for that meeting right in there. Over here, of course, we talked about adding guests. So when you click on it, it's going to be your frequent people that you're setting up meetings with. You can add as many as you want. You can allow guests to modify the event. This is a great option, especially if you're helping your managers do calendar events. Give them the option to modify it. You're helping set them up, but then they can go in and modify it at their discretion if they choose to. You can also allow people to invite others, which is really nice. If maybe, you're setting up a sales meeting, maybe somebody's inviting an outside guest or whatnot, you can allow them to invite others. You can also choose to not let other people see the guest list. So if it's a sales meeting or whatnot, and you just don't want everybody to see everybody else, you can choose that off. So it's just a privacy setting that you have the option to do. If you're inviting an outside guest, it's going to notify you. So anybody using an email that's not Schmidt Family Companies, so Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, AOL, whatever it might be, Joe Schmo sells realestate.com. If it's outside of our Schmidt family of companies organization, it's going to warn you. It's going to say, hey, do you want to invite an external guest? Just a security setting. If it's what you want to do, just click OK and it'll send them that invite. Obviously, it's just a warning to make sure that you're sending it to the people that you intended to set it to. And of course, after all of that is done, you click save. It's going to go on your calendar and you're going to be able to see it on your calendar. Now, if you want to go in and change anything, you click on the calendar invite and you click the pencil right there at the top. You can change any settings you want. This is a really great calendar invite that Tracy did. You can see she has the agenda typed right in there. She has all of the guests here. It's on repeat. And then you'll see that it's on her calendar. Now you can change calendar invites if they're not yours, but it's only going to change it on your calendar unless the organizer had chose that option to allow guests to modify. So you can change something you want. Maybe you want a personal note for yourself. It will modify on your calendar, but not everybody else's. You can also duplicate invites if you want. So if you want to duplicate it over to a different calendar, maybe it's on your personal calendar, but you want to put it on an office shared calendar, you can do that here. You can copy to any of the calendars that you have access to modify the events. So that's a really nice option as well. So you're not having to recreate the wheel every time. You can just copy that right over to a different calendar. Now over here to the left, so we talked about create. This gives you the month view. We talked about how you can change your settings up here. You can go into your settings here. Like I said, I defaulted my notification to an email. This is where you would want to go to do that. Now, as you can see, I have lots and lots of calendars that I'm a member of, lots and lots. Some I created, some I was invited to. Some are just industry standard calendars like holidays and stuff. So if you toggle on and off is where you're going to be able to see. So if I go down to the Schmidt Education calendar here, you'll see that my calendar changed. You'll see all of these green guys came on top of my red guys. Now I know that my calendar is red. I know that the Schmidt Education calendar is green. Your calendar could be completely different. So when you're on the calendars over here, you click the three little buttons here. and you can change the color that you want. Red for me is like bing, 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 hello, alarm, alarm, right? It's my calendar. It's what I want to see. My family calendar is in orange. It's just the way I have it set up, but you can set your colors how you want. So, highly recommend if you're struggling, if you're like, oh my gosh, I have three things, but not really, because maybe one's a conference room schedule, maybe one's a meeting you set for your manager, maybe one's actually yours. Change the colors. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier because when you view that right away, you're going to see that. Also, if you have the Google Calendar app on your phone, those colors transcend over platforms. So it's going to be the same color. So we all know that, vision is huge, memory recall. So set your colors the way that you want to see them. You can also do things like display this only. So maybe you're just quickly looking at what all of our educational offerings are. You can choose that, or you can hide it from the list. Maybe it's a calendar that you never want to see because you just don't need it. You can hide from the list here. So again, make sure that if you're getting confused because all your calendars are the same color, which they shouldn't default that way, it should default to a different color. I just went and got myself in a different screen here. So let me go ahead and close that. Hit those three little dots here, change the color, and make your life easier. Now, typically I'll have 5 to 6 of these checked at any given time. I kind of parse that down just a little bit just for the sake of this training, but you can see you have all of those options there. Let me scooch over to the chat just to make sure I'm not missing any questions. And I'm not, so we're good there. So again, make sure that you're setting up the calendar invite to make your life easier. If you have reoccurring meetings, don't go in every week and set up a new calendar invite. Make sure that you're putting that on repeat so that you can go ahead and have that set up for you. Now, because I'm a super admin on the Google account, and there's only 2 of us, I can actually see the calendar phrasing of other users. So if I come in here and I want to see what Paul maybe has going on, I can start typing his name and it's going to come up. This is going to work for anybody that has a Schmidt Family of Companies Google account. Most everybody else, if you're checking for calendar times, you're just going to see free or busy on their calendar. Again, because I'm a super user, I can see calendar names. I'm not going to click on it. But if you're scheduling an appointment with a coworker or with an agent, go ahead and check their calendar. It helps with phone calls. You don't necessarily have to send a text. You can go ahead and see if they're free or busy before you set up that calendar invite. So right over here in this Meet With button, anybody with a Google Schmidt Family Companies account, you can check their calendar. Now, if it's an agent or somebody else outside of the company that's using a Gmail or whatnot, we don't have that functionality. But anybody using our calendar from our system, you can check their schedule. Again, it'll say free or busy. You'll be able to see their time block. So that will help you schedule a meeting with coworkers, agents, whatnot. So that's a really good feature there that not a lot of people utilize or understand that it's there. Now, if you are setting up like a conference room schedule or you're setting up a floor schedule for your office, or maybe it's just a training, you want to make sure that you're sharing those with the people that need to see them. So back to our point of the 3 little dots, you want to click on that and you want to go to settings and sharing. So this gives you a lot of options. You can do a description so that everybody is clear on what that calendar is. Maybe you have 2 conference rooms, maybe you have a big or small, maybe you have a front or a back. Maybe you have an east or a west, whatever it might be. You can put in the description so that everybody's clear on what that calendar is for. You can make available to the public. This can be a really good option if you have agents not utilizing our Schmidt Family of Companies Google account. Maybe they're using their own or whatnot. If you make it available to the public, they're still going to be able to see all those events so that you can make sure that they have visibility, even if they're operating outside of our Schmidt Family of Companies Google Workspace. If you don't, if it's more of a sensitive thing, you only want to share it with people in our company, you can make sure you uncheck that. So we're on the Get Schmidt Done calendar. We all know and love it, all of our ASC and RSC training. So you'll see there's lots and lots of great people on here. If you want to add and invite other people, you can do that from here. You click add people in groups. Again, you start typing anybody that has a Schmidt Family of Company account, they're going to come up. If you already have a group listed, maybe you have all of your office agents in a group and you want to add them all at once. You don't have to individually add them. It's really nice. You can add them as the group. You start typing the group name and you can click here to add them. Once you click on that, it'll show you everybody. So even if you want to maybe do half your agents to an event, you can then further make sure that you are getting down to the nitty gritty and deleting the people that you don't want to have it. If you want them all to have it, you click send right here. They're going to be invited to the calendar. As soon as they click the link in the email invite, they'll then have it on their left sidebar that they can toggle on and off as they see fit. Now, if you want them just to see the events, which a lot of our training calendars and such are, you want to make sure that you leave it toggled to see all events. Now, if you want them to be able to change events, maybe it is a conference room schedule. So title needs it, ASCs need it. Maybe you want the agents to have it, maybe you don't. If you want them to be able to change events, you can change it to there as well. If you simply just want them to know if the room's available, they'll see free or busy. You can give them that option as well. So you can secure some of these calendars if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and click cancel because I don't want to reshare this to everybody that's already on it. So you'll see that you can set up notifications as well. If you want to, you have that option on any calendar, whether it's your personal calendar that is automatically created when you have an email, or if it's one that you're creating, you have those options down here. You have ways to integrate the calendar if you choose to embed, and maybe you're adding it to, like we do this with student resources and such. And then you'll see that you have the ability to delete it if you want to. If you're invited to a calendar and you really don't want to be, you can delete it or unsubscribe from it if it's not your calendar, so that you can then, it's out of your vision. You don't have to worry about toggling it on and off if you choose not to. If you unsubscribe, you're not going to be getting those notifications or anything of the like. So I think I do have a chat. So let me just go ahead and check that real quick. Oh, thank you, Risa. Yes, I like I said, I live in my email. I live in my calendar. I'm just there. That's where it keeps me organized. We talked about adding that Google Meet, and remember that pro tip, if you're adding an invite, it's going to automatically add that whether you want it or not. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Now, quickly, we'll talk about tasks and keep, and then we'll go ahead and wrap. So over here, and again, this is personal preference. You're going to have these settings how you want to see it. I also have them on my sidebar in my email. So I use these a lot. I was very guilty of having sticky notes everywhere. I still do, just so you know, I have a few. But I travel a lot, right? So I would constantly call Paul, say, hey, Paul, I know there's a purple sticky note. It's to the left of my computer screen. I really need to know the information on it. Can you send me a picture? Paul would have to run downstairs to my office, take the picture, and text it to me. Gone are those days. I'm sure Paul is grateful for that. I now use virtual sticky notes, which is Google Notes. So you can add new notes here. You have the ability to organize them. You can put in check boxes if you want to do a checklist. Lots of options here. I also have the Google Keep app on my phone. So I no longer need people to send me pictures of sticky notes. I have it on my computer. I have it on my phone. You can actually go ahead, and if you open it up in Keep, you have a lot of options down here. You can embed photos. You can add people to it. Maybe it's a shared sticky note. Maybe you're working on a project with a coworker. You have all of the options. You can also go ahead and set up a remind me. That's going to put a reminder on your calendar. So maybe you have a sticky note with like 3 things you have to order. This is great for Staples ordering, by the way. You can keep a running total of what you need to order. Maybe you do it every Thursday. If you're in a big office, maybe you do it once a month. You can set a reminder. So keep your running tally of everything you need to order. Remind yourself in 2 weeks to do the order, and it's all right there. It really takes off the mental strain of having to remember it. So this is a really good functionality. The other thing that I use is tasks. So maybe it's a lot less information. I just need to remind myself quickly. You can do a task. Everybody likes getting a check mark, right? It's just as satisfying as throwing that sticky note away when you've done that chore. You can go ahead and check the box when you're done. So you can add a task. You can also add this to your calendar so that you actually have it on your calendar so it reminds you. Now, the reason why I like the tasks too, because not only can I toggle there and go and look at it whenever I want, if you set up a reminder on it, it's going to go on your calendar. It's also going to email me because I have my default set up to email me a notification 10 minutes prior. Again, I use my email for my organization. If I have an unread task in my inbox, I know that I have to do it. So not only is it on my checklist on my computer, on my phone, because of course I have the Google Task app as well, it also will put it on your calendar if you choose. You can write from an email set up a task as well. So if you have an email and you're like, mentally, I can't even go there right now. I know I need to do that, but I don't need to do it till tomorrow. Got 20 things I need to do first. Right from the email at the top, you can make it a task. It'll go over, it'll link the email to your task. And then when you're ready, if it sends you a reminder, you're like, yep, now it's tomorrow. I had those 10 things done. I got to get back to that. It's going to be in your task list. It's going to have that email attached right to there. And if you put a reminder on it, it's going to show up on your calendar as well. So, super great way to stay organized between Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. You can have the app on your cell phones if you choose. You can have the apps on your iPads if you choose. And again, it syncs all with your email, which we're all in all day, all day, every day. And you can automatically set up a Google Task right from your email, which will then go to your calendar. And it's a beautiful thing. You'll stay super organized. So I'm going to go ahead and take a breath and open up the chat box and see if there's any questions or other tips and tricks you want to share with the group. Well, great. I don't see anything coming across. Of course, if you're in here and you're like, oh, I kind of remember that, but I don't really remember how to do that, but I really want to know how to do that, don't hesitate to reach out. Of course, these are all Google products, so you can Google it as well. Hey, Google, how do I XYZ? Really great instructions will come up and you'll be good to go.
Thank you, Carrie, for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love Google. I'm in Google all day, every day. Sometimes we forget to train on it because there's so many little tips and tricks that really will make everybody's life easier. The question was, can you add boomerang? I think is the question. I'm not quite sure. So let me talk with Paul and we'll get an answer out to the group after the fact. We'll just make sure that it's copacetic with our Google security settings and we'll get back to you on that. So I can't really answer that question right now, but we'll get you the answer to that. So thank you guys so much for your time today. I certainly appreciate it. I wish you Google luck with all of your Google products. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Bye now.